Okay, today is January the 2nd, 2018, and right now at 8:30 p.m. we have a temperature of 61 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 25%. We had a very low 16% relative humidity all day today until about 4 o'clock. So we had 16% relative humidity despite all this moisture moving in to central and southern California. We've got a 1008 millibar surface to upper level low pressure system right here, and but yet zero rain. Let's go ahead and look at the Doppler map right now. We see that there's just no rain anywhere in central or southern California or anywhere in the southwest. Got a few dots of green right here offshore of San Diego. Looking at the water vapor map here for the Northeast Pacific, we have this low right here, which is should be moving right into California, but it's being forced to the northeast by installed high pressure over here. Also, we have a transmitter which is periodically putting power on this center, this vortex. We can see a right angle form. Actually, this morning we saw a very well-defined right angle. We can see the remnants of that right up here, right there. And so the power is being pulsed on and off. Also, we have another right angle way up here. Let's go ahead and stop the let's go ahead and stop the loop and take a look at that right here. And we can see that right angle right there. And also they're pulsing the power up on this system right up here. This is, I believe, is a developing storm. The same thing is happening here. We can see these steps. That is the transmitter being pulsed on and off, creating those steps. And then we have a right angle right there. And that will prevent this moisture here from wrapping back around into that vortex. Same thing's happening over here. Let's go ahead and run this. We can see that in addition to what's happening in the center of that, we have a, this is a blockade. This has been installed by a satellite transmitter, microwave, or laser. And that is preventing the frontal system associated with this weather system right here from getting into that low. So this is completely blockaded. We can see the moisture right here bouncing off of this high pressure zone. Can't get into that low pressure. It's all evaporating. Also, all this moisture right here was originating from a gigantic area of thunderstorms down here, which was right here, the pink, the magenta color. This was all magenta right down here this morning. Very large area of thunderstorms. This was completely blown apart. It was superheated with either microwave or laser. We can see the blast pattern right here after the fact, and that is the superheating of this area of thunderstorms, which disrupt the convective process. And so we're seeing the color change. Look at all this color change in here over the 7.5 hour loop. Let's take a look at the infrared map. All this red here, this was all deep red way down here this morning. And we can see where they hit this area right about here. And that was the source. This area of thunderstorms was the source of all this moisture moving right into California towards this low. And so that's why we've had very heavy chemtrail spraying, because these terrorists that are controlling our weather don't want it to rain. They've decided that we're not going to get rain. And that's why we've had very heavy spraying. We saw that, we documented that yesterday on January 1st in Pasadena. Okay, so here is the water vapor map for the western U.S. We can see that low pressure system right here, spiraling all this moisture right towards California, and yet we have zero rain. Let's look at that Doppler map once again. There's no rain anywhere. You can zoom in and verify that. No rain. All the way up to San Francisco and further up. So we have terrorists controlling our weather. No question about that. Here's a look at the southwest rainbow loop. We have Los Angeles right here. just before I made this video, I went outside. The moon is up, full moon still, pretty much, and a lot of haze and chemtrails in the skies as this moisture moves in. So we should be having inches of rain, but instead we have a sky load of chemtrails and 16% humidity during the day with this flow pattern. And so the question again is, why are the people on television, they should be, at least one of them, out of the hundreds that are on television across the country, one or two of them should break rank and start talking about what they're seeing on these maps. I think they've been told that this is a national security issue. I think they've been told it's maybe weather warfare and not to maybe scare their viewers. But that's an excuse. This, in fact, is a gambling racket. We have weather futures and options and derivatives being traded on Wall Street. We have the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, wheeling and dealing in weather futures, derivatives. And so therein lies the motive and the opportunity to make a lot of money when you have people controlling the weather. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Look at this blockade, blocking moisture moving into a low pressure system. So there's the reason why we have animated cartoon weather, because people would figure out real quick, this right here is a dead giveaway. We've got a low pressure system and moisture is bouncing off this installed shield of high pressure, this dry area right here. So we've got the media, they're colluding, they're complicit, and they're accessories to this criminal activity. And of course, the reason that they're doing this cover-up is to maintain the narrative that carbon dioxide and smokestack emissions are causing global warming / climate change. That's the real reason why. And of course, to maintain this gambling racket that's going on. Okay, so that's what's going on. We can just follow the money. And so I hope Donald Trump is listening, President Trump. I hope you're hearing some of this information, because this has to be stopped. We need rain, and we need to be able to grow crops. And interestingly, just as a sidebar note, last May is the time of the year, early May, late April is the time when the orange trees, the Valencia orange trees, begin to bud. The flower, the flowers form. They open up, the white flowers open up, and then you have the bud in the center, which is the orange. Now, in early May of this last year, I think it was May 4th and 5th, we had a windstorm of, Santa Ana, they call it the Santa Ana winds. Well, this was nothing more than manufactured winds where high pressure was installed right here, and that created the pressure gradient offshore. They call that a Santa Ana wind. And that blew, and it dried out everything. We had, 10% relative humidity for a couple of days. We had strong winds, and that blew all the buds off of the orange trees. And so, if you want to regulate the price of orange juice, the commodity of orange juice and oranges, this is the kind of thing that you can get away with. These people are getting away with a lot of things. We're seeing today that the rain is not materializing. But so this is how crops and the price of crops can be manipulated. That is, the supply of the crops, and the ones that make it through to the markets, of course, are going to be much higher price because of the supply-demand equation. And so, we've never had wind in May until just the last few years. There was a giant firestorm down in San Diego, I think about 6 or 7 years ago, and the mayor of San Diego, a woman, I can't remember her name, but she was no dummy. She knew something was wrong, and she came right out on the news and said, this is crazy. This is unheard of, I think is what she said, or words to that effect. We've never seen Santa Ana winds in May. And of course, there was an arsonist down there that started a firestorm, and it wiped out a few neighborhoods down there. And I'm telling you, these are engineered disasters. There are people that are working together to create this chaos, and everybody needs to be paying attention. If you live in a fire zone, keep your eyes peeled. Okay, look here, we have the southwest rainbow loop, and we can see the moisture streaming in. I may have already shown this, but it's just nothing but chemtrail spraying. We have very heavy spraying all day today, once again. All right, here's the surface analysis map. We have the low pressure right here, 1,008 millibar. This is being forced to the northeast by this high pressure, which is wrapping a lot of moisture back into California from that stream down in the tropics. The jet stream map here, we see a disruption right here where that high pressure is. A lot of evaporation in this area. Here's the sea level pressure analysis. We have that surface low right here. A lot of squiggly lines in this area. The 500 millibar, we see some squiggly lines. We've got high pressure installed right in this area. Look at this right here. That's not natural. These isobars should be smooth, flowing lines. Here's the 300 millibar map. We see the squiggly lines. And if we go back to the big map once again, we can see what's going on. We've got the high pressure right where the tip of the pen is. Let's go to this next map. Right here, we can see a hole opening up that will prevent this moisture from moving in and delivering rain. So in addition to the chemtrails, they're hitting this area with a transmitter right there. Just look at the scale. You can see what's going on and the pressure maps. And you can see what's going on. So we have just a great opportunity right here for saturating rain, and it's all being stopped. And the people on TV, these useful idiots, these stooges, say nothing. Say nothing. So the American media is the enemy of the people. Not only are they covering up crimes, political crimes by there's so much going on, and it's not being reported. But we're doing that here. We're doing the job of we're doing the investigative journalism, I guess you say. Okay. All right. So that's it. You can see the center of this low right here is completely isolated. The blue right there, there's a transmitter right here, not allowing that moisture to wrap back into that center. We can see a formal right angle right here. Pulse power, as I explained, step pattern, you can see some of that right here. None of this moisture is wrapping back into that low. That's all being stopped. Instead, it's wrapping into California, where it's being sprayed over. All right, that's it.